How's it going, guys and geeks? Welcome to the Geekritique show. My name is Dakota.
And I'm Jen.
And we will be reviewing the third episode of Doctor Who Series 12, Orphan 55. It's an interesting episode. There's a lot to actually dissect. We literally just got up from watching it. But I think my initial reaction is I mostly liked where they were going with it, but not all of it landed with me.
There was a lot of fun dialogue that I enjoyed. And they got you to care about a lot of the characters from the start, especially the older couple, right from the beginning. I really liked them. Mm-hmm. I thought that was going to swing back around a little bit more.
I think there was kind of a little bit of a missed opportunity with the old people because they seemed like they were going to be a bigger part of the story. Mm-hmm. And obviously they did have
I think they got us to care too much.
Yes, I think that's the issue. With some of the characters, they got us to care too much, and with other characters, they got us to care too little. Other characters that I think that we cared about too little were
focused on more.
Yeah,
which was weird.
What's the girl that Ryan liked? Trixabella or something like that.
Trixabella Lestrange.
I didn't really have an opinion on her. Honestly, I
didn't have an opinion on her or her mom. I just didn't really care. I don't know.
Trixabella. Oh. And she gave me the name Trixabella.
I didn't like her mom. But
I didn't like her mom, and then they tried to make you care about the mother-daughter relationship at the end.
But I just wanted to know more about the old people. Back to the old people.
That's
all I kept thinking.
The old
was
people.
Are we gonna have them be alien things, and they get married, and then Earth starts over, and they populate Earth with their children?
Right.
That would have been better, I think.
Yeah. I do like the concept, though, of going to a special resort and... not necessarily the way they handled it, but I like there's a lot of concepts in here that I really like.
Yeah.
So the resort, it's almost like a fictional resort on a location that people don't necessarily know which planet it's on. It's like an off-planet thing that you get teleported to.
I flew with a 3, nice tail. I'm a bit worried about being separated from my ship.
Our system has saved exactly where you came from.
So you don't have to see the wreckage of the Orphan 55 planet. And it's kind of just a big dome that projects a really cool, nice staycation sort of thing. Mm-hmm. It was really weird that there was only 3 people working there.
Well, I assumed that there were more. We used to see them.
I know. It's a problem with budgeting.
Yeah.
And,
No, I was fine with that because I didn't get I never felt there's only 3 people working here. Mm-hmm. I just got the impression that there were more. But yeah, maybe they could have showed that more. It just reminded me of one time I nannied, and the family that I nannied for took me with them to Turks and Caicos. Okay. So I could watch the kids while they were on vacation.
Lucky you.
It was very nice. But we stayed not in a resort. We stayed at an apartment that my boss's friend owned or something. So we went to instead of going to a resort where all the food is included and all of that, we went to the grocery store and whatnot, and it was unequal distribution of wealth on that island was really frustrating.
The people
who worked at the resorts,
at the resort, but as soon as you left the resort, it was
to the point that it was just I couldn't enjoy the resort because we did go to a resort at one point, but it was you could see all of the workers, but I knew I went to the grocery store that they shopped at and saw their not nice houses as I drove past. And it's oh my gosh, imagine living here, but then having to go to work and cater these people that live, in the States and come here to just be pampered.
It's all a facade.
Yeah, exactly. Basically. Which is exactly what this concept was, which I really liked that because I feel it is pretty crappy. It's just outright crappy. There's no way around
most resorts on in other countries are, just some really nice vista, some really nice all-inclusive mm-hmm. location that they've chosen to pamper and make and spruce up really, really well. Mm-hmm. And they charge you an arm and leg for it. But as soon as you leave that, you're not... The actual experience that you're receiving from this place or this place isn't actually the experience of life on the island.
Yeah, it was just... Nothing was well built. Nothing was put together. There were random dogs on the streets.
So with Orphan 55, I think it was actually... you didn't necessarily think about that when you were watching the episode, but as soon as you realized that it was all a facade, it kind of just hits you oh, this is kind of a commentary on the fact that resorts, as nice as they are kind of built on...
They're taking advantage of the fact that they're built in a beautiful landscape,
right.
but super poor area, so they're affordable to build. So I thought that was really, like, interesting. And I wonder if, like, maybe they could have played with that more, you know? Yeah, and while I really liked that concept, I kept kind of waiting for them to bring out more of the humanity in the dregs. And also, side point, I may or may not have had Benny and the Dregs by Elton John stuck in my head. Benny and the Dregs.
That's going to be the title of this YouTube video. Who review, Benny and the Dregs. By the way, guys, if you want to continue seeing more of these videos, these Who reviews, please be sure to like and subscribe and comment your thoughts on anything in the episode, anything in our review. We would love to hear them. We'd love to respond to them, but it does help the YouTube algorithm push it to more viewers, so it makes it a lot easier for the algorithm to notice that we're making Doctor Who content and push it to fans of Doctor Who.
And it's also nice to have a conversation.
Yeah, there's nothing like posting a video and not getting a lot of feedback on it, but I really appreciate the feedback that we do get from you guys, so that's always super awesome. So thank you, continue to do that. Love you. Let's talk about the Dregs a little bit. Benny and the Dregs. I think the Doctor did say something along the lines of, like, you know, these were the ones that survived, the ones that adapted past nuclear winter. I was a little confused about how a human can adapt from needing oxygen to needing carbon dioxide and doing photosynthesis. I mean, it's a cool concept.
Well, it's like, I think there was no oxygen.
Yeah, but that would instantly mean, like, you know, everyone dies. That's a very gradual thing. Unless some...
Well, maybe they had something to, like, protect them
maybe,
for a while or
yeah,
something.
maybe some form of radioactivity caused a mutation in them. Obviously, they mutated dramatically from humans. I mean, I don't look too different from them, but a little
Especially
bit different.
not in the morning.
Don't tell them that. But what did you think about them as a monster, as a villain?
I liked the beginning where, like, we just saw, like, glimpses of them.
Sure.
Or,
And,
yeah,
like,
I thought
the
that was
steam room or whatever?
Yeah,
Okay.
I thought that they were, like, really well introduced, but they were inconsistent throughout the show. Where, like, sometimes they were faster, and other times, like, they would be like, they're gonna come, but they were close by, but they're taking forever. So, like,
and then there were other times where it's like, there's like 10 of them on my scanner, but I don't see anything. And then you turn around and it's just like 20 of them. How did you miss all of those guys? Or the bit in the vehicle, like when they get out of the vehicle and the furry girl gets, like, dragged down into the depths of the vehicle, and then we don't see anything. Like, we just see, like, the owner of the resort say, oh.
It threw me.
And you, like, look around and there's none of them.
Yeah, where did they go?
There was like 20 of them out there.
And they were all, like, just eating the furry girl. Like, I don't understand. And, like, wouldn't you hear that? It was, like, there were a lot of inconsistencies that were like, what the heck am I watching right now? Or even, too, when they got him to, like, go in the cage. Like, why did he listen?
What did the Doctor say to convince him that he would be better off in the cage?
There were so many, like, little things like that I was just like, what? Like, what?
Yeah, I have to watch it again, but there was a few just big leaps that you were just expected to take. The design of them was cool.
Yeah, I like their teeth.
I think the companions were a little underused in this episode. They were all kind of split up. We had Yaz with the old woman, and...
Yeah, it's just ruined their proposal.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, hello.
Not bad, is it?
I was so annoyed with her.
Yes.
But I mean, anybody could have done that and not realized. But then I literally said to Dakota, I was like, I am going to freak out if they don't get engaged by the end of the episode. Which I guess technically they did get engaged, but he got shot very soon after, and we don't really know why.
Two things.
Will you marry me, and can you shoot me?
Why didn't they at least show him? Like, that was
yeah.
That was the part that got me the most. It was like, why not just show... Excuse me, you got mint in your mouth. Why didn't they just show it?
I thought that they were going to. Like, I kept thinking that that's where the episode was going.
I do have a question as in regards to Benny. Was he on top of the vehicle? Because...
Benny! Benny!
It sounded like it, because when he was talking, I think they were all
looking up. Why was he on top of was he being dragged around by these guys?
I don't know. I feel like he became one of them, and that's why he was that's why. I got the impression that he probably started becoming, like, adapting.
If they produce oxygen and he's around a bunch of them.
Oh, he could just live with them.
He could have just lived, you know, an unhappy life, but
he was like, just shoot me because they're just letting me hang out with them.
Shoot me in the head now.
It's like when you're at a party you don't want to go to. It's like, just shoot me. Like, I don't want to be here, but I can't get out.
What if the girl said no? Or like, what if the woman said no? Like, not until you show me your face. And then she's like, shoot me now. So I liked the setting of the episode. I liked some of the like sci-fi elements in terms of like the setting. And what's great about sci-fi is that it doesn't need to always be super on the nose as to what the author is trying to get across. Like Star Trek does it really well, or at least it did, especially like in, you know, the original series or the Next Generation, Voyager, and all that. They show you a concept, but they keep it in their time period, and they don't make it about, you know, the troubles that Earth has in the 21st century.
Whereas it seems like all of the issues somehow tie back to our current time period.
Yes, it seems very pointed, like, no, you need to stop right now. I don't have a problem with really pointed messages in science fiction. Science fiction is supposed to make you think, but this episode felt really on the nose, especially at the end. Like, okay, we get it. It's a possible future for Earth, but doesn't that invalidate all the other times you went to Earth in the future, where it's presumably past the date for Orphan 55? Because we even saw, I think in the second episode of this, like, New Who, with the Ninth Doctor, I think wasn't it the end of the world, and it was like a thriving civilization, and the sun.
I just felt like too,
up.
like they made it clear, like, this is something that could happen, but it doesn't have to if you make the right choices. Where it's like, how does the whole like fixed moments in history thing happen?
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like if there are fixed moments in Earth's history moving forward, then like this can't. I just don't understand. Like, since when does the Doctor branch off into like theoretical timelines?
Right, theoretical timelines. That's what I'm like struggling with, because it doesn't make any sense. Like, we know where the Earth has been. We've seen it many times in the future. We've even seen it in parallel timelines. But
so to like, say that this could happen but hasn't yet, depending on what you do now, just seems like kind of weird.
You're in the TARDIS. You're presumably in a normal time period. You're in your normal timeline, because you're a Time Lord. I don't think this is the first time I'm really hearing that they can jump between different timelines. I know that they can change things in time to change events. That's like obvious.
Yeah.
But to go to different timelines and say, you know, this is just one possibility of a thing that could happen. It might not happen at all like this.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it felt like
it's
a cop-out
frustrating
at the end of the episode, where it's like...
I could believe something along the lines of, you know, Earth did have a nuclear winter, and, you know, a couple thousand years later, it was rebuilt because someone decided to terraform the Earth after starting a resort. I'd buy that. It's okay. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, it's just to, like, eliminate everything you just built on
a whim, because it's like you're copping out with the fact that we've actually been to Earth past this point. And I know we're rambling at this point, but it really does bug me, because
it just is like really weird and doesn't really make a ton of sense. But
I don't want to harp too much on the bad things, because everyone comments that we always talk about the bad things, but sometimes the bad things stand out pretty. I didn't have a problem that the show had a message. That's not the issue here. I thought the message was actually a poignant one, especially in you know, today's climate. You know, the first big meme of 2020 was World War III. Yeah. And
then even if you see like what's happening in Australia, I feel like to deny that, you know, things aren't going super great would be really stupid, but whatever.
Puerto Rico's had like 20 earthquakes in the past week.
Yeah, like, things don't look too great. Like, I don't disagree with the fact that, like, we rely on the Earth and it's a beautiful place and we do need to take care of it.
That's not the problem.
Yeah, that's not the issue.
Episode. It's their
it's
own
more like the
consistency.
Timeline thing, yeah.
It's almost as if, like, they just decided to not put a lot of weight on this episode. They didn't try to make it fit with their own chronology. And that's what bothers me. It's almost like they're purposely pointing out, it's not really canon. It didn't really happen. We're in the normal timeline, then we got sucked into a portal, and, we went to this resort, and that could happen, but it's not necessarily your timeline.
Yeah, it's like the Doctor's never done that because it takes, like, the imminent threat out of the situation. Like,
right.
It's no longer threatening if all of the Doctor's adventures are, like, theoretical. It's too, like, not things that they could fix within the confines of the episode. So it's just, like...
I did like...
It kind of ended on a note of, like, things went poorly. And, like, those two people, like, didn't get out all right. Which happens sometimes, too. Like, in the Pompeii episode, like, the Doctor knew, but, like, the Doctor said this is a fixed point in time.
They could have very easily used the TARDIS because it does travel in time and space.
Yeah, they could have went back to those two people.
Help them out.
But they just left them because she was like, it was theoretical. So it's like, so what? Does that mean those people technically don't exist? It seemed kind of calloused.
It's a choice. It's a choice they made. Let's talk about some of the companions.
In the Pompeii one, it does say, like, it's a fixed point in time.
Yeah, Pompeii was a fixed point in time, but this clearly wasn't. Mm-hmm. She went out of her way to say, the destruction of this planet is not a fixed point in time.
Okay, and that's that's the thing, too. This is not a fixed point in time, unlike Pompeii. So what, the Doctor just doesn't care about those two people and lets them die? Like, the biggest struggle for the Doctor is that the Doctor wants to save everyone, but sometimes can't.
Yeah. Not
always does everybody get to live. It's not always a happy ending, but usually that's out of the Doctor's control. This seemed in the Doctor's control, and she's like, it's theoretical.
Yeah, okay. It was frustrating.
Yeah,
it was
I didn't
very
like
frustrating.
That. It just seems like out of character, just to make a point.
Let's talk about some of the companions, because I did like some of the interactions that they had with the other characters on this series, rather than on the series, the episode. Yaz, I thought that her relationship with the older people, the older couple, that was, nice and wholesome. Mm-hmm. I do wish she would have, let them have their moment.
Well, she didn't know.
Of course she didn't know, but,
You wouldn't know what that's like because you're not extroverted. You'd never see, like, two people and just walk up to them and strike up conversation. Right. Dakota would literally never do that.
Here's the thing. The difference is, like, they're not looking at you. They're literally sitting with their backs to you, and you show up. This is great, isn't it?
People do that. They go up to each other and start conversations.
Okay, you're right.
This is something humans do.
Not dregs like me.
Yeah, not dregs. I like their relationship, though, because they've been dating for, like, 47 years or something, and they just never felt the need to get married. And then, imagine that, like, you're gonna die soon. Like, he has an oxygen tank. Like, he knows his life isn't gonna last forever, and, like, he wants to spend the last years married with her. That's nice. I just thought that was the sweetest
a nice concept.
thing. Yeah.
What about thing 1 and thing 2?
Snap hammer. Silas.
Snap hammer won't fix that. You want a crash wrench.
Wait, you're not a mechanic?
I don't know. I didn't have an opinion on that.
No opinion. Like, I
think that was supposed to be, like, alluding to the fact that, like, the older generation doesn't want to hear any of the younger generation's solutions for what's wrong with the Earth.
Interesting. Okay, that's interesting.
I don't know. That seemed to me like the whole point of their... Because it's like the kid comes up with, like, all these, like, ideas and the dad just brushes him off like, no, that won't work. And I feel like the younger generations are, like, definitely in touch with, like, trying to be economically friendly and going green. And it takes a while to, like, overcome the hurdles that some of the older generation have placed. These established ideas that need to be overridden.
I think a lot of the episode revolved around family. Because you have this older couple who have been a family by definition, but not, legally, for, I think they said 47 years. Then you have this broken family of this father and his son who, doesn't like living with the mom, prefers living at this resort or whatever.
Yeah, he likes to show up without warning.
This place is way better than Mom's house.
So he just shows up occasionally. I thought that was kind of a funny thing. And then you have the super backwards family of, Trixabella and...
Sundance Kid.
Yeah, Trixabella and Sundance Kid, just holding a gun up to each other and just being like...
Like, she didn't even recognize me.
So I'm gonna burn her entire life down. Just kidding, I'm gonna blow it up.
I didn't get that at all. I'm sorry, but, like, I don't know how long you would have to not see your daughter to, like, not recognize her.
That is pretty bizarre.
Like, so for example, I started a new job, right? And there's somebody that works this job that I know this person. I don't know where, and I think it was a very brief knowledge of this human being a very long time ago. But when I see this person, I know that I know them. Your freaking daughter, you wouldn't recognize her at all? Like, that's stupid.
True.
Like, that's just dumb. Like, this is some random person. Like, I have no idea who it is. I know them from somewhere.
One of the things that was really strange to me was, I mean, the great thing about Doctor Who is that the TARDIS, generally speaking, takes you to places that are in need of help. That's usually that's canonically what the TARDIS has done. Mm-hmm. It usually just sends you to the Doctor's next adventure, basically. It chooses, you need to help fix this scenario. There's aliens running amok. With this episode, it was Graham who chose a resort vacation on a whim. Whether that was the TARDIS kind of guiding Graham to find those, 6 winning pieces.
Well, I think he actually was getting them from the TARDIS vending machine.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point, actually.
It's probably still the TARDIS.
Okay.
Like, you guys should probably go here at some point. This is getting out of hand.
Alternate timeline, but, still important.
And the Doctor's like, nah, it's not important. It's theoretical.
One thing that I've noticed Graham says and does a lot is whenever he seems excited, he says something that I, in my, puny American mind, cannot fathom, like, what the letters that construct this. It's like, get in, or goody, or...
Get in!
I physically can't hear it.
Get in!
So, I think it's, like, hilarious and fun, but,
like, what is he saying?
I can't tell if he's trying to, repurpose, popular slang, just because he's, hanging out with young people, or if
it's just
that's just his catchphrase. But I like it. I do. Someone comment, what is he saying? I'm genuinely curious.
What is that?
I could turn on
so that
closed
we can
captioning.
start saying it at home.
I could turn on closed captioning, but that's not as fun.
Yeah, we want to hear you phonetically write this out.
Yes. So I can say it properly next time. What did you think about the relationship that Ryan had with Trixabella?
I thought it was cute, I guess. The fact that he's, just trying to, pick up this girl, doing the typical thing, lying to make yourself sound better, and then she was lying too, but then she turned out to be, a terrorist. So that was a plot twist. Because I thought, oh, finally, Ryan meets, a nice girl. There has been no love with this group at all.
That's true.
There's no love, besides...
Not for lack of trying, though. There has been, certain, with Ryan, he's clearly looking to date someone. He's trying to date his sister. He's trying to date this girl.
He's looking, but, nothing's really quite working out for him. So I just thought, oh, finally, he's been wanting to meet somebody, and now he's talking to this girl who's cute, and, thinks she was a terrorist. So there's that.
Did she also get infected by that virus, or was she just sucking her thumb? Because it seems kind of ridiculous that a number of people on this really fancy resort are just getting virus bugs from using a vending machine.
There's a lot of... I think people are winning their way into this, so
it's run from the inside
there have been
basically.
hotels that use cheap alcohol and people die from it and stuff.
Right.
So
all right, we're gonna wrap up this episode. Orphan 55. Jen, if you were able to give it a 1 out of 10 rating, where would you fit this one? Not
super high. I'd probably give it 4, I guess. I think ultimately in the scheme of things, I don't know how much I'm going to remember. I don't know.
I'm going to be generous and give this a 4 as well.
Yeah, I just think when I'm sorry, but the whole theoretical thing kind of, to me, the reason why I'm rating it so low is it takes away from the Doctor's character to be callous and not really care about these two people that are super obviously going to die in a really gross way. They talked about getting sunburn, their flesh is gonna burn from the sun and they're gonna run out of oxygen, and or the dregs are just gonna eat them, and the Doctor's just no, you can change the future. You 3 people are literally gonna change the human race. It was clearly talking to the audience, but
you guys saw Endgame and actually know how time travel works, so you can avoid this future because we actually know how time travel realistically should work in a narrative now. But it was just frustrating because Doctor Who has done this for 53 years now, and they've decided to change that up for some reason. I just thought really unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I know we'll probably get comments you're being so critical and stuff, but to me it's just my like, first comparison to Pompeii, like, the Doctor wanted to save people, but it was a fixed point in time, so he couldn't. And now this Doctor has the opportunity to save people. It's not a fixed point in time. She says that, and she chooses not to. That just, like, it doesn't sit right with me, but...
Oh, okay. You know what they're doing a lot in the past couple episodes is the Doctor touching someone's head to read their mind. Obviously, we saw, I think Tennant did that back in the day.
Yeah.
So...
And, what's her name? Once the door is open.
Right.
They entered both ways. Girl in the fireplace.
It's almost like they're trying to give the Doctor more to do, or, like, open up the mythos of, like, the Time Lords a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering where this is going to go, because clearly they're running with that, like, you know, touch the head, see what happens, and keep the plot going, you know.
Yeah, so. That's true. Here, touch my head and see what happens. What did I think?
Let's wrap this up.
Let's go.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Who Review. Please be sure to like and comment. We really do appreciate everyone who actually interacts with the videos. So thank you. We plan to make more of these in short order. Mm-hmm. We hope you like this video, and you can check out some more videos right over here. Bye, guys.
Bye.